What does being present even mean? I remember when I was not into any of this. I thought meditation was hippie and weird, and that's not for me. And I remember being in this depression, this severe, agonizing depression. And my mind's resistance just dropped completely. And I was in this place of just not being able to resist anything. And I received this guidance. Google living in the now. And in that moment, I thought, what kind of hippie BS am I Googling right now? But my mind was so exhausted from the depression, from me picking at it with cognitive behavioral therapy, that there was just no resistance. And one thing after the next, I am now in a place years later where presence is the foundation of all the work that I do personally. It's the foundation of all the works that I do with the clients. So what does being present really mean? And why do you want to do that? Why do you want to invest your time in learning how to do that and cultivating that? So let's dive right in. So before I begin, I do want to emphasize I was never in all of this spiritual stuff, and even meditation, as I said in the intro, when a friend was like, oh, you should meditate, or should we get Cartoli's book into the now or something like that? And I go into, no, that's hippie. I'm good. I like my analytical mind. I first remember hearing Eckhart Tolle in a video on YouTube talking about how your mind is your greatest enemy, and that happiness is not found there. And I remember looking at that, but this was before my spiritual shift, and I remember hearing him say that and thinking it's stupid. That is the stupidest thing anyone could say, because my mind is what gets me through the depression. My analytical mind is what keeps me safe. Analyzing, putting things into boxes, right? Categorizing. This is what keeps me safe. How can that be my greatest enemy? It's an asset. It's my greatest asset. And this is one of the mind's traps. And this is why it's so important to come into this present moment, because your mind, your ego, cannot exist in the present moment. It can't. That's why it takes us to past situations, past scenarios, past memories, which, by the way, aren't real. I'm going to get into a moment, or the future projections, hopes, fears, because it cannot be here now. So why does it take us into the past? Why does it take us into the future? Apart from the fact that, it doesn't want to be here because it can't exist. It's not negative. It's not an enemy. In a sense that there's so much content out there about ego death, and, I want to be without my ego and free from that and free from those fears. Your ego is what makes sure you don't randomly jump out of the balcony, that you remember to eat, that you remember your name, that you remember where you live. Your ego is what keeps you alive. It's a partner in this human experience, and it's not negative. In fact, even the limiting beliefs, they served you at some point. In early childhood, children do not have the cognitive processes to deal with a lot of things that are going on. And so a lot of the emotions are trapped in the body because we don't know how to feel them. And, we're present as children, and then something overwhelming happens. We don't know what to do. And that stores in the subconscious, that's not safe. And this emotion that wasn't fully experienced. And these are typically the things that the mind will take you to not be here right now. Like, do you remember that thing that happened when you were 5? Instead of being here right now. Now, inner child work is so important. This is definitely something that I do with my one-on-one clients, but we work at it from the present moment. That's the big difference between a lot of practitioners and the work that I do. It's all from right now, from the present moment. And so the mind's going to take you to the past stories. How do I avoid feeling this? Because right now, especially when we haven't dealt with these things from the past, when we haven't processed it, when we haven't integrated, when a moment happens, say when you're 5 and you're so scared, and you create a survival mechanism. Oh, I was expressive and then I got yelled at. It's not safe for me to be expressive anymore. So we let go of a part of ourselves. In the shamanic tradition, they refer to this as the soul. A part of the soul leaves. And then there's soul recapitulation practices where you bring that part of your soul back. And it doesn't even have to be, severe trauma. It can be little things. But it's when we deny a part of ourselves and we disconnect. And the work later on becomes to come into wholeness, because in the present moment, there is wholeness when you're deeply present. That wholeness just happens automatically. And that's why for so many people it's so scary to be present. And I know I was one of those. And that's why the mind's resistance would come up. Oh, it's not safe to be present. Because if I'm present, if I stop, if I'm not on the go, 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 all these things that are stored in my body that have not been processed will all come to the surface. And that is so freaking overwhelming. And this is the work that I support my one-on-one clients with as well, or in the Powerful Self membership. This is what we do. Training that muscle, because actually it is only now that is real. Right now is the only reality. Your past is created from the future, from the present moment. Your future is created from the present moment. And in regards to the past, it's interpretation. So, the way you have a filter on a person right now, that will determine how you see their past actions, how you remember them. A situation happened, it's in the past. Different people remember it differently. Who's to say what was true? It's made up at this point. It's not real. But right now is real. And so being present, it's really being alive. It's being here. Because again, that's the only reality. When you're trapped in the mind, you're not here. You're not living. You're living on default. On an auto program that's just running. 95, this is research, 95% of our lives are unconscious. We get an impulse, as an example, for our hand to move, to open the door, to put our hand on the doorknob and to press it. That part of our brain gets activated, and then the part that wants to consciously choose to open the door is activated. 95% of your life is unconscious because we're not here. And by being here, by living in the present moment, you're tuning into your place of power. You're letting go of those programs that aren't even yours. That's what you've been taught by your environment. That's why, those, when you were not able to process things, just autopilot, like, oh, okay, I can't be expressive anymore. That's who I am. That's my autopilot from now on. Or don't be too happy, something bad happens. Or you can't have this wealth because somebody's going to be upset with you. And we run on autopilot. So why be present? Because you're taking your power back. Because right now in the present moment, when you open to it deeply, there's no self-doubt. There are no fears. There are no insecurities. There are no judgments. There are no labels. And you come into a right relationship with yourself. You come into wholeness. And you get to live from that place. And you get to create from that place. And you get to love and connect from that place with yourself, but also with others. Not from a place of fear, but from a place of, I feel so freaking good, I can't help but give. That is presence. So I understand now, years later, why in that moment where my mind was just cracked open, it collapsed, why that was the guidance that I received. Live in the now. And even though my mind was too exhausted to fight, there was still this, what the hell is this? And what it really was the foundation for all of life. Living in the now is the only way of living. So my question to you, are you actually living? Is your mind going wild about things that happened, or replaying old conversations? Or is your mind running wild with future projections? Oh my God, what if this happens? Or, oh, I hope this happens. And you're not actually here. And there's absolutely this balance. It's a whole other video, and this is what I do deeper with my clients. Where's that balance? Well, okay, so if I'm in the present, does that mean I don't plan? Absolutely. But just like I said with the inner work, we go to the past from the present moment. And same with the future planning from the present moment. There's a way to do that. So on this note, if you're new here and if this resonates, subscribe, share this with someone who needs more presence in their life. And I invite you today to go into a presence experiment. For 1 hour, for half an hour, just notice how present can you be with all you do. I'm lighting a candle. How present can I be with the match, with the fire, with what I'm holding in my hand? How sensitive can I be and aware of my fingertips and what they're touching? How present can I be with my breath? How present can I be when I'm washing the dishes? How present can I be when I'm opening my door, when I'm getting into my car? How present can I be when I'm stepping? Am I feeling every step on the earth? And that's actually a walking meditation. So bringing that awareness to your day today, maybe you want to extend to your week, and then to your month, and then to your life. Because your place of power, the only place of power, is the present moment. So on this note, I thank you for being here, and I wish you such a powerful day.